Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the NBA slate on DraftKings for Friday, March 9th. We have a really nice size slate on this Friday. We got 10 games today, so a lot of guys to talk about. I don't want to waste any time. Just make sure you guys drop a like on the video, and if you're new to the channel, make sure you click that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. But yeah, we're going to go through each position and talk about some players we want to target today. And of course, I'll give 5 guys that I see early looks at this slate. 5 guys I think I'm going to be targeting in my lineups tonight. But starting off at point guard on this 10-game slate, we got James Harden up top here, kind of our only guy above 10K. I'm not a big fan of Harden today. Not really going to be looking to pay up for him. I just like other studs. I love LeBron today. LeBron's been playing so well. AD's doubtful to play, so we're not really going to be able to consider him. You got Giannis against the Knicks. Right now I kind of want LeBron if I'm paying up, and I think there are guys that are cheaper than Harden that I really like as well. So not a big fan of Harden. Probably my favorite options to pay up for today would definitely be Dame Lillard. Really like him in tournaments against the Warriors. Lillard always gets up for these games, always tries to play well. He's played well through 2 games this year against the Warriors. Played an average of 40 minutes through 2 games, 58 DraftKings points through 2 games against the Warriors. He's averaged. Just always gets up for these big games at home. I don't mind Dame in tournaments at 9,400. There is a cheaper option, though, that I like in cash. So that's kind of why I'm not really considering Lillard as an optimal play today. The cash game play today for me, definitely Jrue Holiday, 8,500 against Washington. We've already gotten news that Anthony Davis is doubtful today, so he's not expected to play. We already know Boogie's out for the season, so it's pretty much going to be Jrue Holiday running this offense for the Pelicans. Jrue, Rondo, and MIROTIC, I think all of them are great plays today. They are kind of priced up. I believe MIROTIC is 7K, which is a little bit more expensive than he's been. I think Rondo's still the same price, or around that same price. Holiday got a slight bump to 8,500, but that's honestly too cheap in my opinion. With Anthony Davis off the court, it's just going to be Jrue Holiday, Rondo, MIROTIC doing all the heavy lifting for this team. So I think Holiday's a great play today. I think he has a ton of upside here. 60 fantasy points, would not be surprised at all if Holiday got there. He's got that kind of upside. So I love him at 8,500. I do like Lillard as well, but right now Jrue Holiday just kind of a guy I'm trying to jam in my lineups. But then if we look a little bit cheaper, guys like Kyle Lowry, Lonzo, I think are fine plays today. Even Chris Paul feels way too cheap at 7,500. But I feel like guys like Lillard and Holiday just have a lot more upside in their matchups. So these are guys I'm not really considering, at least for cash, like Lonzo, Paul, Lowry. I think all those are guys are fine mid-tier plays, but not guys I'm forcing in. And if we look a little bit cheaper, want to go to this price range. Rondo, kind of mentioned him. Love him here at 6,500. I've been on him a lot lately. He's been playing well. Did have a pretty disappointing game last game against Sacramento, only putting up 23 DraftKings points in 32 minutes. But you would imagine Rondo going to see a slight boost here with Anthony Davis not expected to play. Rondo's going to have to step up to score. We already know he's going to grab some rebounds. With AD off the court, a few more rebounds to go around. Assists are going to be there for Rondo. Good chance he could get a triple-double here. Would not surprise me at all. So I do like him as well. At 6,500, we got some really cheap potential value at point guard. And that's kind of the reason I don't like a ton of these mid-tier plays. But on DraftKings, a lot of guys that are cheap I really like are shooting guard eligible. I believe Holiday's shooting guard eligible as well, which is definitely nice. But talking about these mid-tier guys, I think Rondo probably be my favorite option here. And then if we look for the value, there's some cheap value I really like at point guard. Hopefully we can consider first guy like Fred VanVleet. I think is a fine play at 4,500. It's probably not my favorite value option, but we already know DeLon Wright not expected to play today. OG or whatever his last name is, OG, he's not expected to play either. VanVleet should be looking at about 25 to 28 minutes, I would imagine, in this game. And he has been closing out games lately for the Raptors. He did close out that overtime game against Detroit. He played the full 5 minutes in overtime. So VanVleet, if you're going cheap against Houston, you could go there. Fast-paced game. Even though Houston, they have slowed their pace down a little bit. This game, I would imagine, is still going to be pretty high scoring. So VanVleet's a guy you can go to at 4,500. But the 2 guys I'm really keeping my eye on for point guard value. First guy is Frank Mason at 3,800. Absolutely love him here. If De'Aaron Fox is ruled out today, Fox left their last game. I believe it was because of a back injury. The second he went to the locker room, it was maybe a minute or 2 later, it was announced that he wasn't coming back. So they were able to decide pretty quickly that Fox was injured and wasn't going to be able to come back. So that would probably mean it is somewhat of a serious injury. I really don't think Fox is going to play today. Frank Mason most likely will move into the starting lineup for Fox. Even if he doesn't start, he still should see some nice minutes off the bench. When Fox went out last game, Mason got some nice minutes, 29 minutes against the Pelicans, 30 DraftKings points. This is a great matchup against the Magic, a team that plays at a fast pace and is very bad defensively against point guards. Really like Frank Mason here, but definitely make sure you're keeping up with the news on De'Aaron Fox. If Fox plays today, not very interested in Mason, but if Fox is out, I think Mason's a great option at 3,800. And then the other guy that I think's a great value play as well, another guy kind of gonna have to watch news, but SHELVIN MACK, same price. Really like him in that same game. We've got news that DJ Augustin is questionable for this game today against the Kings. They've already said that SHELVIN MACK will start if DJ Augustin is not able to play. So if Augustin is ruled out, great value option here in SHELVIN MACK. We also know that Evan Fournier is going to be out for the Magic. I think this Orlando-Sacramento game is going to be a game you look to for some value plays. And just from point guard, just looking at this team or both of these teams' point guard value, you got Mack on Orlando's side, you got Frank Mason on the Sacramento side. I think both guys definitely some good value options if injuries do break their way, if Augustin doesn't play, if Fox doesn't play. Both of these guys I really like for value today. And they're really my options. I like sub 5K. You can go to VanVLEET at 4,500, but I just like the savings you get going down to these two guys. They're only 3,800, really, really cheap. But let's go ahead and move on to shooting guard and look at this position. Kind of a lot of top plays here that were eligible at point guard. I didn't really talk about, like Brad Beal, Oladipo. I guess these guys are fine plays, but not really jamming them in. My favorite play here, if you were paying up, would most likely be Bradley Beal, just because he's going up against the Pelicans. The Pelicans have been playing at such a fast pace. They're not good defensively at all. This is a great spot for Bradley Beal in some tournaments. I do like him. Could definitely be a game where he goes for 50 to 60. So if you were paying up at shooting guard, I think he'd be my favorite play, but kind of like I said, not a guy I'm jamming in. Kind of the same with like DeRozan against Houston. I think DeRozan, really good tournament play here. He's coming off a nice game against Detroit. I don't mind him at 7,600. But mainly shooting guard, I'm really kind of looking for the cheap value plays like Mack. I'm not sure I don't think Mason's shooting guard eligible, but Mack, Holiday, you can play at shooting guard. These are kind of the guys that really stick out to me. But I know some of you guys do play on FanDuel, and FanDuel doesn't have dual position eligibility, so we will talk about other shooting guard plays. Gary Harris could be a really good option today at 6,300 at shooting guard if Jamal Murray's not able to play. Jamal Murray did get hit in the head in their last game against the Cavs, and I believe he never came back into that game, so I would say Murray's questionable for today. If Murray misses, we could definitely consider Gary Harris. Will Barton as well sees a big boost if Jamal Murray's off the court. So Will Barton, Gary Harris. If Murray's out today, those are two shooting guard plays that I really see that stick out to me. If we're going to like this 5K range, don't see a lot of options here. I really have to have that I absolutely love. So then if we're trying to find the value, you could go back to some of the Memphis guys. We already know that Tyreke Evans is not going to play. Chalmers and Andrew Harrison also out as well. So like Macklemore, Dylan Brooks, it's not a great matchup for them going up against the Jazz, but both of them played pretty well last game. They're going to play big minutes, so you could go to Macklemore and Brooks. If you're going cheap at shooting guard, you also got VanVLEET as well, who's eligible at this position. But that's really it for shooting guard value. I most likely won't be going to the Memphis guys today because I feel like we're going to have better value in just faster-paced games like this Orlando-Sacramento game. I think it's going to have some value to where I don't really have to consider guys in that low total game in Utah and Memphis. But anyways, let's go ahead and move on to small forward. We've got LeBron up top here, who I just absolutely love. 11,500, kind of still too cheap for LeBron in my opinion. The guy's just been playing so well lately. He hasn't put up less than 50, I believe it's 53 DraftKings points ever since Isaiah Thomas got traded. LeBron's just been doing everything for the Cavs, been rebounding, been assisting, been racking up a ton of points, pretty much a threat for a triple-double just about every night. And in this game against the Clippers that you would imagine would be competitive, we're going to get some big minutes out of LeBron here in competitive games this year. He's playing close to 40 minutes, if not more than that. LeBron, we know, is matchup proof. Nobody on this Clippers team can really stop him. Great play today. He's got such a high floor, great cash play. He's got the ceiling you want in tournaments. Definitely trying to build my lineups around LeBron today. I think there will be plenty of value to where it will be pretty easy to do so. But then looking for other small forward plays. Giannis, I'm not very interested in here against the Knicks. I'd just much rather have LeBron. And I think I'd actually just, like, talking about guys that are 10K and above, I definitely want LeBron on this slate. AD, obviously unlikely to play today, so we're not going to consider him. Giannis and Harden, I'm not big fans of today. I think I'd just rather go to the top to LeBron at 11.5 or go down to some of these 9K options like Dame, Jrue Holiday, Bradley Beal. those are kind of the studs I'm considering. So not really a big fan of Giannis. Like KD, he's cheap at 8,900, but not sure if I want to play KD. Maybe in tournaments you could go to him at that price. Got a lot of upside out on that price. But I just think LeBron right now has such a high floor that he's kind of the guy I want. Aaron Gordon, Tobias Harris, like don't feel like these are guys I'm jamming in. DeRozan, kind of a fine tournament play, but another guy I'm not really forcing in today. And then if we want to go this mid-range, like Will Barton I think is a really good play today against the Lakers if Jamal Murray is out. Kuzma's been playing well lately. With Brandon Ingram out, you could definitely go to Kuzma at 6,400 if you wanted to play him in this mid-range. Markieff Morris in this mid-range I think is a really good play here against the Pelicans. If you're trying to go a little bit cheaper, he's a guy that's just been so consistent for you. He is priced up to 5,800, but still at that price, I think Markieff is definitely a good play here. The Pelicans, they're just so bad defensively. They play at such a fast pace. This is definitely a game where Markieff could easily get 30 DraftKings points or more. So I do like him in that sort of mid-tier value-ish play. If you want to go to him at 5,800, I think he's a good option. And then if we're trying to go sub 5K for the really cheap value, not a lot I love here. Like you got the Memphis guys like Macklemore, Brooks who you could play. Maybe Trevor Ariza because he might be needed here defensively to guard DeRozan. He's been playing pretty well lately. You could possibly consider him at 4,900. We already know Evan Fournier's out today, so Jonathan Simmons at 4,700 could definitely be an option. Same with Mario Hezonja, 4,200. Will be interesting to see who will start for Evan Fournier, whether it be like Hezonja, if they do some shifting and like move Simmons to shooting guard, then move Hezonja to small forward. They might do that, but Hezonja is 4,200 with Evan Fournier out today. He could definitely be a play. But that's it for small forward for the cheap plays I see. So moving on to power forward, we know Anthony Davis is up top here, but he's unlikely to play today. He's doubtful, so we're not really going to talk about him. Giannis I'm not a big fan of. So if we want to find other power forward plays, guys I haven't really mentioned, guys like Draymond Green, Julius Randle, aren't plays I feel like I have to have today, not guys I really love. Draymond's really cheap at 7,400, so you could possibly consider him. Larry Nance is a guy I've been on a ton lately at 7,100, but he is priced up now, and I'm not sure how much of a fan I am of him at that price. Obviously, when he started the last two games, he's been playing very well. 32 and 37 minutes his last two games, 47 and 42 DraftKings points. I don't want to say that Nance is like too expensive, but at 7,100, there is a guy that I liked that's just a little bit cheaper, $100 cheaper. I think Mirotic is a really good play today. I would prefer him over Nance slightly, but Nance is definitely a guy you could go to. But Mirotic with Anthony Davis, not expect to play today. I think Mirotic going to see a ton of usage. I would pretty much almost guarantee that Mirotic is going to move into the starting lineup. And like I said earlier, it's going to be Rondo, Holiday, and Mirotic just chugging this Pelicans offense, doing all the heavy lifting. Mirotic did see a slight price increase up to 7K, but that honestly might still be too cheap. The guy's going to get a ton of points. Obviously, we know the rebound should be there with Anthony Davis off the court. So he is a guy that I really like from the Pelicans. Can't go wrong with Rondo either, but Mirotic and Jrue Holiday are kind of the two main guys I really want. And then if we're looking for other power forward plays, obviously Kuzma you could play at power forward, I don't mind. Bobby Portis against Detroit. I feel like Bobby Portis is going to have to play some big minutes here to guard Drummond and to be on Blake Griffin as well. So at 6,200 you could possibly go to Portis, but I think I'd just rather get up to Mirotic or get up to Nance. So maybe if we want to try and find value here, Scal could be a value play. If Willie Cauley-Stein's out today, if Zach Randolph rests, you could definitely consider Scal at 5,500. And then really, really cheap, getting down to the cheap options, Mario Hezonja, 4,200 I like if you're going cheap. But that's really it for the sub 5K value that I see at this position. So let's go ahead and move on to center and quickly cover this position. We got Drummond, Jokic up top here. Not guys I really like on this slate. Jokic maybe in tournaments against the Lakers you could go to. I know he's had some big games in the past against the Lakers. Didn't do very well against them this year. In that one game, I believe he did get ejected, so that's why he only played 11 minutes. But I know he had some big games last year against the Lakers. He is coming off a nice game against the Cavs where he put up 61 DraftKings points in 34 minutes. I haven't been on Jokic lately just because he hasn't been playing that well. And with Millsap returning, Jokic has definitely struggled, but he kind of broke out of his slump last game. Maybe he keeps things going here. 9,300, you could go to Jokic, but not a guy I'm jamming in. I'd much rather have Dame, I think, for just 100 more if we're talking about 9K plays. So Drummond and Jokic are not guys I'm really trying to force in. Same with like Vucevic, DeAndre Jordan. These aren't guys I'm forcing in. Rudy Gobert, not very interested in. Gasol, I'm not very interested in. Larry Nance, I do like if you want to play him at center. I think you can play MIROTIC at center as well. ENES KANTER is a guy that I do like in this mid-range. He's in a great matchup against the Bucks. He's played really well against the Bucks this year. Through 2 games against them, he's averaged 41 DraftKings points. He's played averaging 32 minutes. It is a great matchup. The Bucks do really struggle to defend centers. I do worry about taking KANTER right now just because of the Knicks and how they're tanking, not really giving their starters minutes. But lately, KANTER has played 27 and 30 minutes in 2 of his last 3 games. If this game does stay competitive, you would imagine KANTER, I'd say he's going to play about 26 to 30 minutes, somewhere in that range. And 26 to 30 minutes at 6,900 for KANTER, he could easily get 40 to 45 without a problem, especially given the matchup. So I do like him at 6,900 at center. Also like in that 6K range, Bobby Portis, who you can play against Detroit. I like him at center as well. And then in this 5K range, if we look for plays here, Scal I think could be a good value option. If Randolph rests and if Willie Cauley-Stein doesn't play, maybe Joe Val against Houston. Do worry about this game going small and Joe Val not really getting minutes. He did only play 16 minutes earlier this year against Houston, 21 DraftKings points. But whenever Clint Capella's on the court, good chance Valanciunas is going to have to be on the court, so you could possibly play him in tournaments. I was very high on him last game against Detroit, and he played really well. 42 minutes, or 42 DraftKings points in 31 minutes. I don't think this is a spot where Valanciunas is really going to be needed, but he could still play 25-ish minutes and pay off this price. He is still pretty cheap at $5,700. So Valanciunas you could play if you're going cheap at center. Brook Lopez I know is coming off a nice game. You could possibly play him against Denver. He's been getting solid minutes lately, and he's still cheap at $5,200. I do like Brook Lopez if you're going cheap, especially since he's getting solid minutes lately. And then sub 5K for the really cheap value. There isn't a ton I see here. If Randolph rests today and if Willie Cauley-Stein is out, you could possibly play Costa Kufas at $4,700 if you're going cheap. Mecca Okafor could be a cheap option at $4,200. We already know Anthony Davis is unlikely to play, so Okafor could have the opportunity to grab some more rebounds here. You could play him at $4,200. But that's really it for center for the value plays. I am seeing a lot of value on this slate, which is something I like, so it should definitely be easy to fit in a stud or 2 of your choice on this slate. Right now, JRUE and LeBron are kind of the 2 guys I'm trying to build around, but guys like Lillard, Bradley Beal, I don't mind as well if you want to build around them. I think they're great stud options. But as of now, my guys are definitely LeBron and Holiday. But that's really it for this slate, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Nice 10 games tonight. Good luck tonight on this slate, guys. Hope you do well. Make sure you drop a like on the video before you get out of here. Make sure you subscribe as well if you have not already. And yeah, guys, good luck tonight, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.